Hey all, hello and welcome, Tony Bing here. For this beginner's guide video we will have a look at the legendary outlaw Star-Lord. Now in this particular video we'll have a look at his primary attributes, offensive and defensive traits as well as his resource. We'll then check out a few of his costumes, have a quick look at his signature and ultimate, and then finishing up we'll do actually 3 different gameplay run-throughs showing off all the various skills you have. So first up anyway, we'll look at his primary attributes, offensive and defensive traits, and we'll also look at his resource as well. So we start off here looking at the offensive trait, and that is Starship Uplink. Now with this you have a flat 3% critical hit chance. The archetype is Blaster, and that means that your primary attributes are fighting and energy, so the one you want to go for as always would be fighting due to the crit rating multiplier. The actual defensive trait is Spartoid Grit. Now with this you gain 700 health regen per second for 4 seconds when you use a medkit. The archetype is versatile and you have a multiplier to both defense as well as dodge there. For the resource we have dynamic ammo. Now with this your primary resource is plasma ammo. This doesn't naturally regenerate. Once it all runs out, it then starts to regenerate at a rate of 15% per second. Now you can actually use ammo loader skills, and Star-Lord has 4 of them. We'll look at them later in the video, but when you use an ammo loader skill it will reload the ammo for you, so you can actually keep using all your spenders. Now also, when you use your actual ammo loader, you can load your gun with elemental ammo, and this affects your snapshot, empty the clips, and elemental blast skills as well there, but we'll check that all out later on in the video. For now, what we'll do next is have a look at some of his costumes. First costume we'll look at is a legendary costume. This is a great looking one. I love the jacket and the almost casual look, and you can see in the little comic book up the top right as well there that Kitty actually joined the Guardians during this run. Next we're going to look at the awesome Guardians of the Galaxy 1 movie costume with the jacket and the helmet. It just looks fantastic. And finishing up we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 movie costume. Looks great. If you've not already seen the movie, do so because it's absolutely incredible. And with the costumes out the way, let's now have a look at the signature and ultimate. For his signature we look at a skill that actually makes use of the Milano, and as this video goes on and we look at all the skills in a bit more detail, he's actually got a few other skills that make use of that as well that are pretty great. But this particular one, the signature, it's called Orbital Strike, and with it you're not surprisingly calling in a massive strike from orbit from the Milano there. So you've got the huge damage packet, and it also stuns the enemy as well, and it's quite a large radius on it, so it's a pretty nice signature. The next skill we'll look at anyway will now be the ultimate skill. For the ultimate we have a skill called Secret Weapon. Now with this, Star-Lord whips out a cosmic cube and he actually appears to shoot the cosmic cube, which causes it to explode, and when he does that you gain a bonus to your damage rating, you gain unlimited plasma ammo, and on top of that it will instantly destroy any non-boss enemies, and also boss enemies will take a huge damage packet hit as well. And then finally we've also got the fact that it's got a 3-second stun on it, so it really does offer quite a lot. Visually it's awful quick compared to some other signatures that may be going for 30 seconds and there's a lot going on, so in that regard a little bit disappointing, but for what it actually does it can be pretty useful and it does hit an awful lot. What we'll look at now anyway, we will run through the Shocker Terminal, and first up we're actually going to show off his grenade skills, and these are all pretty great. So we'll actually start off here by looking at the main spender I would be using. This is Snapshot. It is a basic attack and it's got the 15% critical hit chance. So with it being a basic, it's a relatively simple skill. We then have a look at the grenades, and this is pretty great. Now through talents you can modify skills, so you've actually got 4 different grenades you can use. They all have various effects, and also through talents we can have it so that we can refresh the cooldown, which means we can spam the grenades, as you can see I'm doing just right now. Now the first grenade we'll look at, this will be Shockwave Grenade. This is the simplest of the actual grenades that we look at, because it is just a flat damage packet. It does nothing else, nothing special in that one. The next one we look at, however, is Incendiary Grenade, and with this you have the initial damage explosion, you then have a dot on top of that, and it also provides your vulnerability, and the visuals look pretty great for it. You can see it crackling away there just next to me. Now the next one we look at, this would be Cryo Grenade, which is another great looking skill. There we go there, you can see that. So you've got the energy damage packet on it to start off. It also freezes the enemy for 1.5 seconds and it will slow them for 6 seconds, and on top of that it's got its weaken. So if you're going for the grenade build, you've got the weaken and vulnerability built into them, which is really quite useful. The final grenade we look at is a great utility one, and this is a gravity grenade. Now this particular skill acts as a vortex, so when you throw it out, what it does is it immobilises the enemies and it actually all pulls them together in one area as well. So this is especially good to use if, for example, you've got a group of bosses or mobs. You throw this down and then you can start firing off your AoE or your signature to then burn them down because they're all grouped together. So what we'll do when we're fighting Shocker here anyway, fire off all these grenades and dash round to reset the cooldown so you can see them all firing off. Here we go, we made really quite short work of him with that, so it's a nice fun build. Now what we'll actually look at next will be his more Milano based skills. That'll be the starship we'll be using, and also just the regular gun skills that he's got as well. First skill we look at here then for this run through is Empty the Clips, and this is your main range spender, and it actually has a whopping 20% critical hit chance on it as well, which is really pretty huge. The next skill we look at is the first of the two skills that actually call in the Milano. So this first one is called Strafe. You see all the arrows on screen there, as the Milano does a strafe and run and does damage to the enemies. The next skill we have, another Milano one, it's Incendiary Cluster Bomb, and this time you've got the damage packet, you've then got the dot, and it also provides vulnerability as well, and it's 8-second duration on that, so that's a really pretty great skill. The next one we look at, this is quite strange, and it's Star-Lord's one and only melee skill, so it's called Close Quarters. Now with this it's an execute, and it actually has 5 charges, so if the enemy's health is low and you can get into position, 5 executes one after the other can really pull their health down. It also provides you with an 8% damage reduction as well as that. Now saying that, as much as the actual execute can be useful, 5 of them, I do find it a bit cumbersome to use because Star-Lord as a ranged hero can be a bit squishy. You don't really want to get close. Personally, I wouldn't recommend this particular skill. The final skill we'll look through for this run through anyway would be Suppressing Fire, and this is just your standard trash clearing skill here, and it's got a cone area as well. So let's fire off all the skills on Dr. Octopus to show them off. There we go, you can see the various effects on screen showing where the Milano is about to fire, which is pretty nice. That was me attempting the close quarters there, and as mentioned it can be a little bit clunky. Great, so that's him down. So what we'll look at now, and this is really quite interesting, possibly my favourite side of things, is the elemental gun, and this should be a whole lot of fun. So as we mentioned earlier on in the video, we actually have ammo loader skills. Now the great thing about these is they have various different elements. As you can see on screen, you've got air, earth, fire and also water. Now if we look at the air one first, with this it creates a bouncing effect on the actual ammo, so you'll fire and it will start bouncing between various enemies, so it's great for taking out groups of mobs. The next one we look at is earth. This is more your single target actual ammo, and with this you will gain bonuses to the crit damage and also brute damage you'll do, so this one really is good for whittling down bosses. The next ammo we look at, personal favourite of mine, is fire, and this is fantastic. It does a huge area damage effect. The effect on it really is pretty impressive. I like this one a lot. And the final element we'll look at will be water. So with this one it will freeze the enemy and it actually pierces them as well, so that can be really quite useful. Now what I should actually mention is with the ammo loaders, they are just used to, not surprisingly, reload your ammo. They also do that one large hit as well, but on top of that what they'll then do is they'll change the Empty the Clip skill into Elemental Barrage, and all the effects we've been talking about, such as the pierce, the bounce, the AoE, they will be inherited by Elemental Barrage, which you can spam. You see I just used the fire to take out some mobs a second ago. The final skill we look at anyway is another elemental one, and this is great. So with this, the actual damage type it will do what it will actually do is affected by the ammo type you've got loaded, so this can be a really quite nice skill. There we go, we've actually fired them all off and took Taskmaster down nice and quick there. So I hope you did enjoy this beginner's guide video for Star-Lord. As you can see, he really is a versatile hero with all the different fixes that the elements can offer, and he's a whole lot of fun as well, so I would recommend checking him out. Now next up we'll have Captain Marvel, so keep an eye out for that in the next day or so, and thanks for tuning in.